Welcome to the journey of an entrepreneur. I am your host, Ryan Batts, and today I am bringing you the real. All right. We always see the highlights every day. That's what's on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You see highlights. All right. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. They see nothing but great things. They made this much per month. They're doing this. It's the next big thing. Well, as someone who has lived through it, I'm going to tell you most of it is not highlights. It's lowlights or whatever the opposite is of highlights. I'm going to give you the real today. I'm going to talk about a couple of things that I think that needs to be talked about. I will give you some examples through my journey of what I have experienced and just talk about what it really takes to do this. It's not for everyone, and that's okay. Sometimes I think it's just a little bit of the crazy in me that wants to challenge myself and to continue to do this. Because when I start reading things that I've written down about 5 minutes ago, I'm like, oh, I have had to deal with a lot. All right. So I think the first thing to think about is the mindset. All right. I think the hardest thing to do is to actually start. You have to break that barrier within your own mind that you'll have some doubts. You'll keep thinking, well, what if this happens? Well, what if that happens? Or maybe you're worried about what someone else thinks, which, shouldn't be the case, but it's just who we are as humans. What if I leave this corporate job that's checks all the boxes and, it might look good on paper, but maybe you're not happy. And, there's just so many things that's a mindset issue that it's a barrier that you're going to have to get over, and that, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be the right time. It's just something that you're just going to have to get started and trust the process. And it's not going to be easy. So that's why I'm having this episode to really talk about how it's not easy. I'm bringing the real, and it's not to discourage you, but it's to just kind of let you know what you might be in store for. How I should start off is how I started. I was teaching, so I can give you just a simple day of what my day looked like when I was by myself on the truck. I had to be at work early, 6:30, 6:45, so I'm getting up early, 5 o'clock, 5:30. I have family, kids, making sure everything's in place there. And then, having the trailer attached to my truck, I'm driving it to work. As a teacher, I'm there. I have my daily job as a teacher, so that takes a lot of energy out of you. I was at the high school level teaching these kids, and I'm receiving phone calls throughout the day. So any lunch break I had, any slow period, I'm responding to emails, I'm sending text. So not only is my job as a teacher going on, the business is still running. It's in its infant stages, so it's not crazy, but anything added on top of that makes it pretty crazy, and it's mentally draining. And that's the mental draining part of it. And as soon as I'm done with teaching, which, usually 2:30, now I have a window where I need to go pressure washing. So from 2:30, after done teaching and answering all these questions through the business, now I went out and I had 2 or 3 jobs that I had to do. And that's physical labor, okay? And I'm working in the heat or the rain, whatever it may be, cold. I'm working in the elements throughout that day. So it was a struggle to do this daily and to continue to remind myself that there was a bigger picture, and you got to have a purpose. And a lot of it, I just, oddly enough, I enjoyed that I was building something, and I could see the value in that and what I was bringing to the customer. But I will not lie and say there wasn't conflict that it added to the home. I was gone a lot of the times, and I missed some things, and there was conversations between myself and my wife. Is it worth it? You're missing out on this. You're working 6, sometimes 7 days a week. You can add those hours up, but if you're working, you're getting up at 5:30, getting home at 8:30, that's 13, 14-hour days, 6 days a week. That's a lot of time. And it's just like, I had a family as well. So I had to be Superman when I came home. If I was tired, I still had to make sure I entertain and give that time to the wife, to the kids that they deserved. So there was a lot of things that made it hard, and there's a lot of things that would make a lot of people not want to move forward, but you just have to remember why you're on that journey. But it is hard. It's a lot of long hours when you first start. I will say there is a point where it starts to get easier. Never easy, but easier as far as the actual hours that it takes. But that's my personal journey and how it went. But it's not easy. A lot of hours, a lot of mental and physical stress that it'll take out when you're first starting out. So don't think it's going to be easy and you're just going to either start this business or buy a business and then you can sit back and everything is going to be fine and you're only going to work X amount per week and you're going to have all this freedom. It's just not true. I'm sorry to burst the bubble on that, especially in the beginning. That's not the way things work. Nothing worth having is what I've always said in life is easy. All right, it's always going to be hard. There's going to be hard involved in it. You just kind of have to switch that mindset. Hey, hard things are worth having. It's going to take some discipline. It's going to take some consistency. There's some things that it'll take that it will require you to do to make sure that this is successful when you're starting out this journey. I want to go over some of the things that have happened to me during this journey and talk about it a little bit. Again, it's the lowlights. We've talked about the highlights nonstop. Here's some lowlights. So we have had a totaled truck. So I had a truck that was in a 5-car pileup, and it was a totaled truck. Luckily, no one was injured. It wasn't our fault, but still, I had a young man that was in a wreck for his first time, and he couldn't work for 2 weeks because just his mindset. He wasn't physically injured, but just that it was very scary for him. So that was a scary moment for the company, dealing with that. Not to downplay his situation, but also dealing with the situation of having to rebuild a whole truck, which is 30 to 40K all in, 50K some cases. So that was a big, not only were we losing money daily on not having a truck, but now we're having to buy a new truck. So that was a big issue. I had half my employees quit within a two-week span. Okay, so they gave me their 2-week notice within a 2-week span. So this was a very hard one. It really made me question if I should keep going. I was going from the summer to about to start back into school. I was actually back into the school before the kids come, and one employee gave me his 2 weeks. Nothing. You just going on to the next step. And then a week later, another employee gave me their 2 weeks. So I only had 4 employees at this time. So half my employees quit or gave me their 2 weeks within a 1-week span as I'm headed back into school where, I had to focus on being a teacher. So rehiring, rescheduling things all during this time on top of the stress of being a teacher was almost a breaking point. Luckily, I have a great. You need. This is another thing. You always need someone, a battle buddy, or someone you can talk to. My wife is great for that as well, to reach out to other things that have happened. We've let horses out of a gate. One time we were at this huge house and they had horses, and the gate was left open, and the horses decided to go on a journey and run out of the gate. Our fault. We left the gate open. The owners come out screaming some things I can't mention on this podcast, but they are gone for like an hour, and the fire department finally had to bring them back in. All I could think about is Teacher Under Pressure on the front page news or front news. Just we let horses out. They got hit by a car, and yeah. We let 2 horses out of the gate. I thought it would be a dog first, but no, it was horses. We have broken skylights, which has cost into the thousands of dollars. We have broken water pumps, which have cost thousands of dollars. Multiple angry customers, whether it was our fault or was not, we've had to talk about. And that's always a variable I like to mention is you can make someone happy, do the exact same thing, and then another customer is just, they're a variable. You never know what is going to set them off. I've had chemical spills. I've had gas leaks. I've had to repaint an entire home before. We've had to repaint stained doors. I've had sleepless nights worrying about stuff. I've had someone twist their ankle. I've had someone fall off a small roof before. There are so many things that have happened during this journey, more so that I would say are the lowlights. than things that are the highlights that have been and gone on during this journey. It's just something you need to think about when you're first starting and want to be an entrepreneur. You have this beautiful painted picture of how it's going to be, so much time on your hands, and you have people running things for you. It's just, I hate to say it's not like that at the beginning, but the great and rewarding thing about it is if you can get past that and build it and have things in places how we've slowly been able to do and scale. Now I have a lot of time on my hands where I'm able to do podcasts, and people are in place that can handle these issues that I've mentioned that will go on, that will continue to go on, but I've been able to hire somebody to take care of those issues, and I've been able to train these employees. Now I have built something to where, we have 7 employees, but when you think about it, it's doing so much more than just those 7 employees. I have 3 other people that I'm in my family, my 2 kids and my wife that I'm supporting. There are other people that are in, they're employees of Teacher Under Pressure. They have families that they're supporting. So if you add those numbers up, who, not just them that they're supporting themselves, but their families, we're up in the 30s that, individuals that we are supporting, which is a very rewarding thing to know that we've built something as a company to where now that we can support others, they can support their families, their loved ones. It's just a beautiful thing. So again, I wanted to just really go over the things that it requires, the mindset to start a business, and the long hours and the sacrifice it will take. Know that there are a lot of lowlights that are not shown on the social media and things you will have to deal with. But the good thing is you'll build some calluses in your mind, and it'll only make you stronger. So, I don't think if it doesn't break you, it's only going to make you stronger. That's the way I look at it. And if you can start looking at it very micro things, these things, when they happen then, it felt like a disaster. But I promise you, if any of this stuff and it will happen, happens again, it's not even an afterthought to me. It's just like, been through it, know how to deal with it, on to the next thing, quarterback mentality. To kind of sum this all up, make sure you're ready. Make sure this is for you. Know what it's going to take, but know if you are ready and can get in the right mindset, it is very rewarding, and it is probably one of the better things that I've ever done is taking that leap to be an entrepreneur and build something that's much bigger than me and my family, that it's now supporting so many more families, and we'll be able to give back to not only them but also the community and future teachers, and so many things and so many doors that it opens to help support other people in their lives. So I'm really proud of that and really excited of the continued growth of what we can do and how we can just be of servant to others. It's very promising. So I hope you get some great tidbits from this. I'm just giving you the raw truth behind starting a journey as an entrepreneur. If you have any questions, again, as always, reach out at Teacher Under Pressure, Facebook and Instagram, or give us a call directly. We'd love to speak to you.